We begin with the crisis in the Middle East and the somber day of remembrance today, 2 years after the terror attacks in Israel.
4 dozen hostages remain in Hamas custody 2 years later. And since the attack that started the war, the Gaza Health Ministry says tens of thousands of Palestinians have been killed by the Israeli Defense Force.
We've got team coverage as talks to bring back the remaining hostages continue in Egypt today. ABC's Ian Pannell in Israel at the site of the Nova Music Festival where hundreds of Israelis were killed 2 years ago.
But we begin with Eyewitness News reporter Lauren Glassberg. She's live in Midtown outside the Israeli consulate with the latest on where those talks stand. Lauren?
Well, Sandra and David, flags are flying at half staff at city and state buildings today, and those buildings as well as landmarks will be illuminated to mark the second anniversary of the terror attacks that happened on Israel on October 7th, those 2 years ago. The vigils are also taking place today for the hostages that remain in captivity, and there will also be protests against Israel and its war on Gaza, all while those critical peace talks continue. Israel and Hamas are working toward a possible peace deal with talks taking place in Egypt. Those talks falling on the second anniversary of the October 7th attack when Hamas militants invaded Israel, killing 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and kidnapping 251. 48 hostages remain. Only 20 are believed to be alive. President Trump says he hopes there will be an agreement on phase 1 of a ceasefire as early as this week. Israel would release nearly 2,000 Palestinians in exchange for Hamas freeing the remaining hostages.
We have a really good chance of making a deal, and it'll be a lasting deal. We want to have peace.
Ruby Hen's son Itai was among those kidnapped, a dual U.S.-Israeli citizen. He's believed to have been killed 2 years ago by Hamas. Hen is pushing for his return.
What I want the president and his team to know that this time all of the U.S. citizens, they need to come out, and it can't wait for a second phase or whatever it might not be. I think after 2 years as a U.S. taxpayer, I think it's time for the administration, as it has in the past, emphasizes the U.S. citizens that are still in captivity, including my son.
Meanwhile, Israelis are divided over Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's leadership and war in Gaza. The Gaza Health Ministry, which is controlled by Hamas, says 67,000 Palestinians have been killed. It does not distinguish between civilians and combatants. And an anti-Israel protest is planned for this afternoon outside the Israeli consulate, which is across the street from me. And the NYPD says that there is no credible threat, but out of an abundance of caution, it is deploying extra resources at cultural and religious sites across the city. Live in Midtown, Lauren Glassberg, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Lauren, thank you very much. We want to head now to Israel and the site of the Nova Music Festival, where 378 people were killed on October 7, 2023. 44 people were taken hostage by Hamas on that day. ABC's Ian Pannell is at the site of the memorial that has now taken over the festival grounds.
This is the site of the Nova Music Festival on the morning of October the 7th, 2023. Hamas gunmen stormed into this area, catching around 3,000 or more young people who've been enjoying the music, celebrating throughout the night, and opened fire in cold blood, gunning down 378 young people. You can see the placards marking the faces and the names and some of the details of those who've fallen. Family members have been gathering here today. Tears have been shed. Songs have been sung, prayers have been made for the hostages to be returned. At least 10 of the over 40 who were taken hostage here in Reim at the Nova Music Festival. At least 10 of them are believed to be amongst the 20 still alive. 48 in total, the rest tragically dead. And there is real pressure on the Netanyahu government to finally end the war, to bring the hostages home and to bring some kind of closure to not just the family and friends here, but for so many Israelis and, of course, for so many Gazans who want an end to this war. Those talks are going to enter their third day tomorrow, where Steve Witkoff, the U.S. Special Envoy, will join them. President Trump upbeat that a deal can be done, and finally some kind of end to this war, which is now in at its second year anniversary. Ian Pannell, Channel 7 Eyewitness News in Reim, near the Gaza border, Israel.